I recently tried the Cooper's Australian Lager. Very clean flavour, but just crying out for something more interesting to be done to it. So we're not going to follow the instructions on the tin. Instead of adding sugar or beer enhancer, we're going to add 1 kilogram of wheat malt extract. I've got the spray malt here from Brewer's Choice. Also, because we're going for a bit of a witbier here, or a bière blanche, we're going to have some spice to it. We're going to have some coriander seed. Now, apparently it needs to be the Indian coriander seed, and not the European type. The European one is a more spherical seed. The Indian one a little bit more pointy at the end. I'm also going to add some orange peel. We don't want any of the white, just the outer peel. And one of the key things with it being a bit of a bière blanche is that we're not using the ale yeast provided with the kit. We are going to use this Brewferm yeast, and it's the Blanche one. There we go. So we've got our ingredients together. Let's have a go at it.
So I've got a couple of Valencia oranges here. I'm just going to take the peel off. Ideally, if the oranges are waxed, you could scrub the wax off, and if you prefer, it might be a good idea to get some organic oranges. So I'm going to weigh out 25 grams or thereabouts of the orange peel. In fact, I didn't need to peel both oranges, just the one provided enough for the 25 grams. And then we can take this orange peel over to the chopping board and we can chop it up. No need to chop it too finely. A fairly rough chop should do, just enough to give it a good surface area to extract the flavour from it. Not so small it's difficult to sieve it out. And then we weigh out our coriander seed. To be honest with you, it was a bit of a futile effort me weighing it out, because we needed about 25 grams of the coriander seed. What I failed to notice is there's only 20 grams on the label for the coriander seed. However, luckily there's a little extra in there, so that's about 25 grams or thereabouts. So we're going to crush it in our pestle and mortar. No need to get it too fine, we're not after a powder. Just make sure all of those seeds are nicely ground up, and we can put that to one side, ready to add in a moment. In a large saucepan or stock pot, I've got around 2 litres of water, which I'm bringing up to the boil. Now that it's almost there, I'm going to add the dry malt extract. And once that comes to a boil, I'm going to add our coriander seed and our orange peel, and then we're going to let that boil for around 15 minutes. I couldn't resist just one more addition, I couldn't leave it alone. So what I'm actually going to add as well is some more hops, just some late hops for the last 15 minutes. So I've got here about 10 grams of a Hallertauer Hersbrucker hop. And whilst that's boiling away, we're going to hydrate our yeast in a glass that has been sanitised, along with the saucepan and all the other implements that we're going to use. Those were sanitised beforehand. That's one thing I forgot to mention, but it's a very important step in brewing, as hopefully you all know. So we open the sachet, pour it into the glass of lukewarm water around about 30 degrees C, and leave that for about 10 minutes. Now that the 15-minute boil is over, we can pour the contents of the saucepan into our sanitised brew bin. Can't quite see it here in this shot, but I'm pouring it through a sieve into the brew bin, because obviously we don't want the hop flowers, the bits of crushed up coriander seed and the orange peel going into the fermenting bin. So there it is, all caught in our sieve. Now we're ready for the next step, which is to add the concentrate from the cooper's can. The can's been sitting in a bowl of hot water to soften its contents, otherwise it would be really quite tricky to pour. So I can now open the can and pour it straight into our fermenting bin. And once that's done, I'll rinse out what's left clean to the sides of the tin with water from a kettle that's boiled quite recently. And now the next bit, which I haven't actually shown in this video, but quite a key stage, is that I've made it up to the right volume with cold water, and then checked the density with a hydrometer just to make sure we've got everything right. I'm aiming for a specific gravity of around 1.050. One stage very easy to miss out, but very important not to, is to aerate the wort with a vigorous stirring. The aeration, getting all the oxygen into the wort, will help give the yeast a good kick start. So in goes the yeast, and I'm going to continue aerating here for another about 5 minutes just to make sure. One thing I should have done before adding the yeast was to check the temperature of the wort, so let's check it anyway, just to make sure I've not ruined it. What I'm hoping for here is a temperature between 18 to 22 degrees C. There we go, that's registering around about 23. A tad higher than I'd hoped for, but absolutely fine. So now I can seal this, put the lid on, put the bubble trap on, and then I can move that to a place with ambient temperature around 20 degrees thereabouts, and leave it to ferment away.